welcome back from that break. And you just witnessed Joey B tearing up the stage, literally. It got to a point he wasn't even performing. The fans were just performing the songs for him. But yeah, shout out to Joey B for doing that for us on that night. But like I said earlier during the Trending Live segment, I did mention that I was going to reserve one story that will lead us into the big conversation. And that is because of the Davido album generating a lot of conversations in terms of the rollout, the marketing, and so on and so forth. And we think there are some lessons that we could deduce from it. But before we get into the conversation proper, there was a tweet that Maven's Records CEO Don Jazzy put out, and he was just giving the word out there that, look, guys, whether you are established or you are not, you need to put in the same work when you put out the music. It is not automatic. All right. So if the tweet is ready, let's check it out and read the tweet for them. If you could put it on the screen, and then we can start the conversation from Adia.
So whilst we wait on that, I mean, generally, Davido's team. I think for an artist of his clout and his level, it's only right that to release an album, especially when all these incidents have happened and all the things he's been through. There's an expectation of a very massive push and amplification with the album. He can't sell any cheaper than what he did
at all.
And of course, Davido as a product itself also rubs off to all other brands that engage with him. There's also a certain profitability for the brand as well, because all those other places he went for interviews and all, I mean, that's like content. I mean, he was on, already.
Even with the Puma signing as
and
well.
all that. It's huge. It's also content that is created. It disrupts the regular and the norms. So I think that for any serious brand that is engaged in music, sports, you just name it, that would want to also be able to reach an extended market. A brand like Davido, of course, who's now become a global African product. But let me say an African global product.
Yeah,
yes.
African global product.
Yes. Clearly, pardon? No, we're talking Davido. Stonebwoy is 28th, right? 28th of
Yeah, 28th.
You said African
Yes.
global
Yes.
product.
28th.
Automatically, naturally.
African global.
I'll see you, bro.
Naturally.
Okay, so that's the tweet.
Naturally.
Yeah, so Don
that's the
Jazzy
tweet,
says, "Dear artists, hope you can see how Davido is marketing his album. He didn't inform, oh, I am OBO, so everybody will cop my marketing your beautiful project that you have worked hard on does not reduce your swag. Poof, poof. Yeah. So, like Jay, you were saying, for me, I think we sat here and we talked about how and what the video's next project was going to be like post, burial of his son, because we're not even too sure what kind of music he was going to be putting on the album. We're not too sure if it was going to be the Davido we knew or it was going to show us a different side of Davido. What I personally took out from this was Davido knows that he's been out of the game for a while. He hasn't put out music, he hasn't performed. So in terms of having his name in the conversation or his name on the upper echelons of music, although he has attained Godfather status, this time in music you have the young cats running the business. So as an OG, how do you bounce back? And it's not even about claiming your crown, but how do you bounce back and let people know that, look, you are still who you say you are.
Exactly.
And he has fired all cylinders. He's touched base on every possible platform you can think of. Many may argue that, there is a budget behind this and he has a label push and whatnot. But closer sources will tell you that although there was a label push, some of the things we've seen Davido do were actually coming out of his own pocket. Case in point is the billboards you are seeing in town. I don't know if you've seen any of the Timeless billboards in town.
In Accra.
In Accra. We have Timeless, the Timeless album billboard in Accra, which was not powered by maybe a Boomplay or a Spotify or whatever. It was powered by OBO, 30BG, across I don't know if there's some in Kumasi, but I've seen some in Accra. We've seen and we've heard Davido, or it's alleged that Davido has shared about $1,000 to some of our Ghanaian DJs. All right, some of our Ghanaian DJs who are actually known DJs or popular DJs who play in these clubs. They have been allegedly been given $1,000 to make sure. Come again?
Salary, they're on salary.
to make sure that they keep some of the video songs off the album on replay. So you could clearly see the intentionality, you could see the aggression, you could see, the direction, even if it's just for a short while. We've seen that these activities have made him break records. Not too long ago, I saw a story about him being the first African artist first African artist to top the US charts. This is not just a genre, but the whole iTunes US charts. These things don't come easy. These things come with you being intentional, being strategic. In an interview the last time, he said he spent $2 million on a good time, and the $2 million he spent was on trash. That was then. So I can imagine how much he's spending now.
Well, he said he spent even less. Well, I don't know whether it's on the production of the
so
album.
Now
or marketing
so it
of the
comes
album.
back to the point of strategy, because you can still have the money, and if you don't have the right strategy, you can still miss it. So it's not even just about money, because you can have the money and still not get things right. Do you get what I'm saying? And I think this is not supposed to be a conversation about competition. And I want to say this on air today for those of you who have been coming after us and saying that we are always comparing. We have no other point or other choice to compare. Nigeria is our closest cousin. We are not going to compare ourselves to the music industry in the US. Nigeria and Ghana are doing the same thing. Yesterday, your food, your panel, on your piano top. Once upon a time, we were the ones.
Is that part?
Oh yes.
Now it was.
Because
I was a bit confused. Coming back from New York,
all I had was two, and I know towing local trees.
And I was like, what?
It's Bud, right? Is it Bud?
Your
But
food, your
what?
piano.
Your piano top.
No.
Who's pushing?
No, but question I want to say your piano to him.
Who's pushing Bud?
Yeah, your piano to him.
Yes, your piano to.
So wait, where you see somebody do the right thing, you give them the support. So there's nothing wrong having to look at our cousins doing it right. Once upon a time, we were the ones leading the conversation. They came in, they learned, they went back, fixed it, put it in the air, and it's making it work for them. We have no option, or we have no. We shouldn't feel bad and shouldn't feel sad to say, "Oh, Nigeria is doing this." If we want to attain the heights they have attained in music, it's the same way they're looking at our tourism and they're thinking, what can we do to also make ours work?
The disclaimer, no, you know they hear. Don't bother.
Because no, bro, it's too much. Every time it's like, you guys sit here, you're always comparing. We are not comparing. And this thing about competition, Messi and Ronaldo are always in a conversation of competition. But between the two players, they know that they have to keep a higher standard.
Iron sharpens iron. If people want to surround themselves with plywood, let them sharpen, let's see. We are trying to find the closest iron so that we can shrink, sharp. If they want us to go and stand by plywood too, we'll go and stand there.
Let's compare ourselves to what's happening.
What's happening then? I'm a bit lost out.
No, he was getting too emotional about the people who were talking.
What about the comparison?
It's because I keep saying, like some boy said, fans need to elevate the conversation. Fans need to move away from just saying, oh, Stoneboy, I listen to your musical, Sack, I listen to your musical, and demand more from their artist. Demand more from the artist. When we come to sit here, we don't speak the language of the fans. We demand more. If it's good, we praise it. If it's good, we amplify it.
Let me chop lawyer small.
We punch.
Let me chop lawyer for the fan way boy, The thing is, we can criticize and compare, but it needs to be in an angle where we are elevating. The fans, we cannot hinge them. We cannot put reins on them and, calm down. Let them go crazy. Let them do what they want. Let them say what they want. But the result will justify these conversations. That's how I understand it. We need to be able to compare. There's no motion without friction. If you cannot compare, right, we won't know what's happening. Even if you go to a hospital, they'll look at your charts because they want to compare your details now with what it was the last year. So comparison is not a negative thing unless you are using it to put people down. Now, before I get back to the rest of my English, that is on the screens right now.
Camp Nou.
That's Camp Nou, and you can see on the yesterday at the.
Who is Camp Nou?
Oh, Barcelona. You don't like football.
No, I mean, listen. You guys talk like the whole world is supposed to know.
Camp Nou.
Who?
When I say Old Trafford, it be where?
Don't mind Jay.
I don't know Camp Nou.
Do you know Camp Nou?
Do you know composers?
No,
so Camp
so
Nou,
that
Barca,
we can appreciate
Barca Stadium, Barcelona Stadium, Camp Nou.
So
there was a match
is
yesterday.
A team. It's a football
team.
Yes.
And at Camp Nou, the runner
Which
board
is their
on
stadium.
bro.
Okay.
The stadium, the runner board on the touchline, right, is running Davido's ads, the new album, Spotify. And this is a collaboration with Spotify because I've seen videos on YouTube, on TikTok, all that. But what I also wanted to say is that for the first time in an African music marketing space, as the album has dropped, brands have jumped on the artist to help elevate and promote it. Usually, they wait until there's a huge success. There are a few hits, there's a ripple effect, he's everywhere now, and then they say, well, let's sign you, let's do this, let's do that. Now, I have a list of just April, the endorsements that Davido has chalked that coincide with the release of the Timeless album. There's the Puma endorsement deal. There's the Wema Bank endorsement deal. There's Martell Blue Swift endorsement deal. Pepsi endorsement deal. Travel Beta endorsement deal. Close Up endorsement. Guinness Nigeria endorsement. MTN Pulse endorsement. Pampers endorsement. And then Infinix Mobile endorsement. And lastly, OneXBet endorsement. So all this money, leverage, spotlight is coming at the same time where he's trying to sell an album. So he is rightly saying what he's saying about spending less. Because even if he's spending more, it's not his money.
It's not his money.
As compared to his previous album, where these people didn't hop on the album until he became big off the album. But he's now such a pivotal superstar that he says, I'm going to drop an album. People are like, Charlie, we want to join you. That's where the conversation is getting to now. We have been on the reactive end. Make I drop my album, push out, make we try get some hits, make I do some shows, some deals go come. What we need to really look at now is that the song, when did he drop album? Last week, 2 weeks ago. Last week.
2
weeks ago?
2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And I just listed 13 multi-million deals.
So
let's assume
like,
that each of the deals could be $1 million. Those are 13 I just listed. And he's not dropped the music video for the album yet. Off this. Spotify is running ads for him. I saw him on Times Square. Spotify had him on Times Square.
Talking about
Spotify
Times
just
Square,
put him on
Times Square. One of us had his video or had their video premiered on Times Square. Dope Nation.
Yeah.
That's Vito. Shout outs to them.
You guys relax. The Times Square thing, relax. Let me just make you guys all look very, very...
Bro,
no. We know it's a paid slot.
Relax.
We are happy to see that Times Square.
I didn't even say anything. I just started saying relax with the Times Square. So if you want me to put your picture at Times Square, come and see me. For like $15, I can do it for you. Sharp.
Whether
I'm only saying that.
we are just happy to see
I'm
that
only saying that.
our videos
Mikra,
are
when I got the rates, I nearly the time I get like last 3 or 4 years ago. So I remember I even supposed to shut up about it. When I got the rates, I look the rate and say, hey, but it depends on what you're doing because there are a lot of screens at Times Square.
Of course.
You understand? So it depends on what you're doing. So
shout out
the traffic, don't mind Jay. The traffic.
I won't put. I say then I come and I won't put my picture for them and write me.
The problem with Times Square is that it needs replay value.
Of course.
So you are booking a 24-hour slot. Imagine the math. If you have a 6-second slot out of 24 hours, if you play only once, that's 6 seconds. Out of 24 hours.
Right now the rate
to make impact, you are going to need tens of thousands of plays within that 24 hours. And if they are billing you for each one, after a week, that's when the money becomes heavy in your pocket.
Let me.
So let's not just look at the unit cost.
Let me quickly run through some of the milestones that the album has clocked since its release. So one is recorded the highest number of album pre-orders by an African artist. The previous record was obviously Burna Boy with his Grammy-winning album Twice a Store. Timeless has also set the record for the most streams in a single day by an African artist with over 50 million streams on various music platforms. And this feat has definitely surpassed the previous record held by Wizkid's Made in Lagos album. Number 3, the album sold over 1 million copies, physical copies, on its first day of release, breaking the previous record held by Burna Boy. Now, all 17 tracks from the album occupy the top 100 charts at the same time. Well, this particular one, I don't really care about that. Number 5, biggest first day streams for an African album on Spotify. Timeless recorded 8.4 million streams on the first full day of tracking. And lastly, he's recorded 1 million streams in 6 hours on Boomplay globally.
And that's awesome to hear. I think that it's safe to say Davido puts in the work even before the release of this album, and that's one thing that other artists should take a cue from, because we see how strategic all of these interviews are. Like, he releases the album and then he's here, he's there. He's on Stephen Colbert. He's on Beats. You know what Beats FM even did for him? For the first 48 hours after the release of the album, they changed the name of Beats FM to Timeless 99.9 FM.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, Beats FM did that for him for 48 hours. So I think that, and then this, obviously, I mean, from everything that we are seeing, it's not conversations that we had
daily.
It's not conversations that we had right when Jay, hold on with Mali.
Mali daily is all I wanna say.
No, that would have been Mali TV, because Beats did was change the name from Beats 99.9 to Timeless 99.9 for 48 hours. And what I was saying before Jay came in was, obviously he's done the work. He's done his checks. He knows where to plug in. He knows where to be at. He knows on which conversation to be on. Exactly. Yeah. It's not the case of, I have released the album and I am now thinking about marketing or promo plans for it. He's already done it, right? We can tell. Like, and that's what, like I said, I'm even looking at it and I'm like, wow, it's really cool. Aside the fact that people are going to be listening and supporting because of everything that has gone on in recent times, aside the fact that they've not heard Davido sing or in actual performance since the World Cup one, aside the fact that we've not seen him front and center actively doing music in a few months, right? Some support is going to come from there as well.
Of course.
But aside that, I'm sure he and his team have done all of the underground work to put the album where it is. Like all of his tours, he's doing the UK, US, Nigeria. Like all of that, I'm like, okay, like he's done it. He's done it, and I admire him for that, because it's not I am Davido. I have been through a lot in the past few months. Everybody is going to empathize and sympathize with me. So when I put out the album, I'm going to go to bed. We've seen how he's actively pushed the album. Even with the Unavailable song, right? We've seen how he's actually said that he paid T.J. Mori 100 million naira for one video. For one video. And I think that's the feel song, right? We've seen him do another challenge like Unavailable. He did it, I think, recently in the US. He's put out another video. He's actively in the promotion of the video from the dance for Unavailable to everything, like the whole 360. And that's admirable. I mean, he's not sitting back and saying, again, I am Davido and the album will do the thing for me. He is doing it and we are seeing it. And we should learn from that.
When we talk about these things, this is not to spite our Ghanaian artists. It's not to say they're not trying, they're not doing well. But we are all about progressive conversations. If we have to come back and speak or talk about the same thing about an artist or group of artists over and over again, then it speaks more to us than what's out there. You get what I'm saying?
I hate to you finish, because I've kept quiet for a very long time. I want to say a lot of things off my chest.
I know you want to learn.
Yes.
My point is, at the end of the day, we are looking to elevate the conversation. Whether there is, we are not saying do exactly what Davido is doing. No. I remember when George
But what are we saying?
I'm coming to that point. I remember when George Britten revealed that he spent close to 1 million Ghana cedis on Camido Sugarcane song to succeed or to blow up. People mocked him. People laughed at him. People said, what do you mean? And 1 million Ghana cedis. But you see, these are some of the realistic stories that make music what it is today. Music has moved away from just being entertainment and being more of a capital-intensive product that needs a push. Hit song no get legs. It be money, then promotion, it move on.
Okay, so
I like that.
I do understand that it's become a business and you need a lot of funding. Obviously, Davido's funding sources, plugs, all those undisclosed things, which we don't know, is clearly at play here. As to whether some big man has put $1 million in him as a gift, as to whether maybe his father's very good friend is the Puma guy.
Puma is doing 10 million with Davido.
I'm saying something.
$10 million.
So
is it $10 million?
No, I'm just saying. So
is it $10 million?
The back end.
Bro, you hear me? Hello, testing.
And the back end machinery that is happening for Davido.
Yeah.
It's happening as a result of the fact that he's also become a globally recognized African descent artist.
Okay.
So it's good. It's at play here. Now let me come back to ourselves. In as much as we can bash ourselves for, I don't blame us.
I don't want to bash us.
I don't blame us because let's take ourselves as 3Music, for example. Somebody is also sitting somewhere saying that, look at your nice studio. You should have been having conversations with some SABC and doing some part. You can always speculate. But when you look at the realistic conversations that are not visible to the consumer, that you have your wish list. But unfortunately, the wish list cannot happen because of so many factors at the back end, which is not happening for you to be able to get there. We can really understand and hope for the better.
Yeah, I disagree.
So I can sit back and calculate Sack's money or Shatter's money or Samini's money and Kelvin Boy's money and come hard on them that they are supposed to be doing more than they are doing. But unfortunately, I know they know how it is done. It's not like they don't know how it's done. They know how it's done.
Jay, you'll be shocked.
They know how it is done.
Jay, you'll be shocked.
They are very much aware that they can actually go and brand Dakar Sports Stadium. They know very well that they can actually have conversations with DDP and all the other billboard
It's the fact that we assume they know. That's the mistake we often do. We always think that the artist should know. How many times have we had interviews with the artists and they obviously admit and
why aren't you managing an artist then?
No, it's because I'm focused on my career.
He's
I don't go and listen.
So your information
I don't go and
what you go to for lunch?
Hold on. I don't go and tell a sports pundit, a Gary Lineker, who sits on BBC Match of the Day,
so if
to
you
tell
know,
him that why is it that he's not managing a talent in
so
football?
Ghana, you see our problem.
No, Jay, in Ole's defense, we need, listen,
I have a career. I'm focused on that career. I'm learning to elevate myself in that career. But you as an artist need to learn to elevate yourself in that career too.
But you have information as to how it's done.
No, the information I have is to educate the fan who does not know the artist he's following. You sitting here as Jay Foley, your job is to educate too. Your job is to inform. Your job is to entertain.
Yes.
You learn daily.
Your job is not to manage.
It's not to manage.
Yeah.
If
the manager should be listening to Olele.
If I get to a point where I feel like
I
have
saying
enough
that
rounds to manage,
all Ghanaian managers.
let's be honest. Most of them are ignorant. Let's be honest. Most of them are ignorant.
I don't think so.
When Beat Menace and Ato Kilson them come and sit here, how many of them pick up the phone and say, "Bro, I heard what you said on radio. I heard what you said on TV." I
don't fully subscribe to it.
Only a few of them.
I always say
that he was going in a particular direction.
How many Ghanaian artists?
Stonebwoy realized that he was moving a particular trajectory. He needed help. What did he do? He went into a meeting with the right people, struck a deal with Jeff Jam. Today we are seeing all the benefit that's coming from that. How many artists are ready to do that? How many? You said they know. If they know, why are they still where they are?
No problem.
Let's be honest.
Artists, as I spoke for you.
I think Olele and Kojo Sheldon drank the same soup. Because Kojo Sheldon's timeline, he said we should stop. We should give.
It's not that they don't know. I also think that it's a conversation on funding.
It's not only funding, but sometimes it doesn't take money.
You can have the funding and still miss it.
No,
if you don't have, if I give you a gun, I don't show you how to use the gun. The gun can even kill you.
The fact that a Ghanaian artist doesn't know, or most Ghanaian artists don't know how to run their
just
marketing.
A few of them. Just a few
but
of
the
them.
issue is that there's a certain gap, there's a certain space that we need to understand that. Listen, a lot of these people are living off lives that they are not actually who they are, because the game demands it. How much are you making?
But you are the one who told us that they make a lot of money.
Oh no, they do. But how much are you making?
So they are making enough to pay Olele for consultancy.
Bro,
those things.
Bro, are you saying that labels? Look, I find it very difficult. Listen,
labels.
I find it very difficult to believe that after 66 years of being a nation, and after many years of having some kind of stronghold in music, labels have not flown into this country to elevate our artists. I find it very difficult. Because the videos and stuff we are praising and all, They didn't just wake up one day and they got found by labels. They put in the work themselves. We've seen artists who have put in the work here. Independently, they've succeeded. Why is it that they are deciding or they are struggling? Even if it's about labels taking your money or whatever, why haven't you called a lawyer? Why? Because you don't have it in your team. Why don't you have someone who will sit to the same label and say, bro, this is how I want my music to go. This is how do it on your own terms. Burna Boy was on radio telling us that if Atlantic does not give him something, he's going to take his music from them and pay them their money.
I disagree.
We are sitting here and we keep pampering the artists.
I disagree.
We have artists who have done well themselves, and labels come into this country and they go back.
Don't beef me.
I'm not beefing you. I don't like the fact that you
look
want
this
to,
camera.
No, I don't like the fact that you want to sit down and then make the artists. Labels come into this country daily. We have labels coming to this country daily. Our artists are not able to sign with them. Why? Last time I sat and I told you that an artist in this country had an opportunity to sit before a label man. He went in there alone and the thing just fell through. Why?
I cannot put the entire blame on
it's in us. It's a character. We want to do everything. We want to be one man. One man show will be me. I'm the one producing. I'm the one writing. I'm the one everything. We want to be us. Davido's album. How many songwriters are in there?
Yeah, but why would you want to make a comparison with Davido? And
how many producers are in there? Even Ashake Sef. How many?
So
the people that we talk about.
Davido is an A-list Nigerian artist who's not gone global. So Davido, which comparison are you making? Davido and who? I put it to you to mention names.
That's what.
Saying Davido. Davido. No. The guy has gone into a certain stage. And we are seeing the lives of our A-list artists like a Stonebwoy taking such
But when
strides.
Stonebwoy did it, aren't we begging him up? I don't understand it too. When Stonebwoy did it,
if you want to make a comparison,
aren't we begging him up?
So somebody's doing it.
Beg him up?
So somebody's doing it. Not all of them can do it. Somebody's doing it.
That is what I'm saying. That the ones who are doing it would push, will amplify them. But the ones who don't want to do it and they have the information, bro, we can't force them. We can't force them to look. The music thing right now is become wearing a Black Stars jersey, right? When you put on that jersey, unless of course you are saying you are doing music for your family and friends, and that's okay. But when you say you are doing music and you want to project, you want to amplify yourself to a global stage, it comes with a national pride. Yes, it comes with
money. You want government saying this, you have to have money.
Nobody's saying it comes with money.
If you've look. I've been doing radio and TV for only God knows how many years. Somebody will equally sit back and say, Jay, you're supposed to be as a certain this and do that and all that. Yeah. If I go happy.
That is why I'm saying that you can't force the artist. You can't force the artist. But if that's the case, then when we are having certain conversations, don't say it. If you're having certain conversations, leave it.
It's called Konongo Kaya.
How do we succeed?
I think
you don't want to elevate. The person wants to elevate you. You are blocking the person. So how do you win?
Take it easy.
No, make not tell me. We have
security. Hello.
You are making excuses all the time. If you know you are not fit for the plow, take your hands off it.
Only relax. There's no point to get emotional about it.
It's not about being emotional. It's not about being emotional.
You speak too much. I mean, you spat truths, but yeah.
Listen.
Lunch is on me, what thing?
No. Listen. Olele has his point. He's made his point. I have my point. My point is that I can't blame the Ghanaian artists completely. Anyway, we have Pep, who's I'm told he's a rep for in terms of marketing of Davido's album in Ghana. Pep Jr. joins us on a conversation. I want to ask him a few questions as well. Pep, good morning. How you doing, my brother?
Good morning, Jay. What's up?
Hey, Pep, use Infinix, Use Infinix. Why can't phone you? They use, we know they hear you, know.
They hear me? No.
Yeah. Let me just amplify. Yeah. Okay. I'm just struggling to hear him out a bit more. But then, Pep, so just give us a fair idea of what strategies were put in place to help market Davido's album in Ghana.
Okay, so first I was tasked by my boss, that's Davido's manager, Issa, under the leadership of Noso to deliver my constituency. When they say deliver my constituency, I was supposed to deliver Ghana. Because for us working on the album, it was everybody in they've built an ecosystem where everyone, there are people from every country part of Davido's marketing team. So when they say deliver your constituency, it means that one, you need to make the focus track the most played songs in your country. 2, you need to increase streams and chart placement in your country. And then 3, you need to emphasize the supremacy of Davido in your country. So basically, this was a 3 objective that was given to me to do. And I must say, we were able to deliver all the 3 objectives for my constituency.
So break it down for us exactly what you did. Exactly.
Okay, so what I was supposed to do is, 1, to increase the awareness for the focus tracks of the album across the Ghanaian markets, and also 2 was to leverage on the popularity of Davido to help mine audience for the song. And also, what I was also supposed to do was to drive streaming of the song and the popularity in Ghana. So basically, that was what I was supposed to do.
So how did you go about that?
Pardon?
So how did you go about that? Example, amplifying the streams, increasing streams consumption on the DSPs. How did you go about that? If you could just break it down for us a bit more.
So basically, I use the tools that I know that I can use to increase it in terms of using influencers, using outdoor advertising, plugging it on radio and all that. So basically, it's just like a little bit of one or two that I use.
So you had did you have funding for this? Were you allocated with the budget?
I had funding. I think aside Nigeria, that had the most funding. Ghana had, in terms of Africa, Ghana had the huge, the funding was huge, because I was able to use some for, so I did a pre-album release. I did a pre-album release stuff, and I did album release stuff, and I'm also going to do post-album release stuff. So I had funding, and the funding was huge.
Do you have can you just share with us, averagely what's this funding, how much we should be looking at, or
averagely is,
if you had an idea what your spend was so far?
Yeah. So after costing everything, we ended up around 16 million naira.
I'll have my research team help us convert that into
60 million naira. 60 million naira is equivalent to, as at now is around. Let me confirm the cost. 1 minute. 16 million.
Pep.
It's around 374,000. But as at the time that I sent that cost, it was around 250,000 cedis.
So about 377,000.
Yeah. As at now, but as at the time I sent the cost, it was around 250,000 cedis.
So we should be looking at about 20,000 USD thereabout.
I think it was around 21,000 USD. As at the time I was presenting the cost to them, and it wasn't just like I had to defend the costing. I went to Nigeria to also defend the costing too as well. So it wasn't just it wasn't like we didn't just start and say, Pep, because we know you do marketing in Ghana, just do it. We went through a lot of process. I had to be defending some of the things I want to be doing all the time to them, because of the type of money they were paying. So that was it.
So, we are almost out of time, but just before we wrap up, let me just touch, because you are also in sync with other Ghanaian artists, and just to touch, get your mind on this subject. Is this the case when you are working with some Ghanaian artists to market their music?
Yeah, I think for me, I really don't work with a lot of artists. I just work with a few. The few that I work with, usually we have marketing budgets. For instance, I can say about Jackie, because I've been part of it. She usually has a marketing budget across Africa and the US and the UK. So for her, I've seen like how much we spend on marketing, and also there's one artist that I'm currently working with. I've also seen his marketing budget in terms of his album that is about to release. So
Is it in comparison with anything close to what Davido spent in Ghana? Or maybe Nigeria?
With the other artists that I said is about to release his album, I think his Ghana budget will be more than how much he spent on David's album, because for him he's assembled like a marketing team from different angles. So everybody comes with his album and everybody comes with his budget, and the ones that I've seen is more than how much I spent on David. Let's not forget that David, David is, in Nigeria they spent more than how much I spent in Ghana. Nigeria, they spent a very huge sum of amount, and some of the stuff they did in Nigeria will be spillover in Ghana, because let's not forget that a lot of Ghanaians feed on some of the stuff in Nigeria. So some of the stuff that they do there will be, spillover in Ghana. For instance, the TikTok challenge. When they started in Nigeria, then we had to reciprocate the same thing in Ghana, and a lot of Ghanaian TikTokers also, follow some of the trends in Nigeria. So, for instance, that particular marketing strategy, we didn't spend a lot of money here in Ghana.
So Pep, real quickly, let me cut you in and ask. So, based with the few Ghanaian artists that you're working with, they do understand the business behind having to amplify their albums, EPs, singles by creating a machinery and investing some money in there as well. If you can confirm this for me.
Yes, I can. In the past, when I worked with Kiddy on his Sugar. On his Sugar album. Yeah, we did that. We spent similar amount, outside Ghana, and then for Jackie too. So these are like the two main artists that I've worked on their albums, Kiddy Sugar and Jackie's EP. So they spend outside the Ghanaian market in terms of promotion and marketing. So yeah, for that I can confirm.
Well, Pep, thank you very much. Our time is up, but thanks for joining us and giving us some insights into this as well. We'll definitely catch you again on another conversation. And that's Pep Jr. As well, who's more like a liaison to most of foreign artists when they have to do such engagements in Ghana. So, Olele, it comes back to what I was saying, that it isn't that we don't have artists who don't know. They know. They are very much aware, whether they fed it off pundits like us or OAPs like us who have educated them, whether they fed it off stakeholders or gatekeepers, they were very much aware of how it's done. But I think what would draw the line and the difference is, do you have the funding to be able to do the things, your wish list that you wish to do? So let's not say that they don't know, they know. But I think one of the key things is, you don't have, we all don't know everything. So I can't say that yet.
So the few that know,
the most that know.
Oh, bro.
The most that know.
I don't want to be.
The most that know.
I don't want to have high expectations.
Most that know. So I'm just saying that the most that know. The challenge is that the funding, even if you want to engage the right people to do the things for you, I'm very sure you have wealth of example. I'm coming. You have a wealth of knowledge. Let me shoot you back and then end the show. Olele has wealth of knowledge in music business. In fact,
Ricky has more.
Hold on, no, Ricky. Let me finish with dealing with Olele. Thank you for the time. Olele has wealth of knowledge in dealing with music business. So much, huge. Listen, he was in SA recently. Understand? To add on to his wealth of knowledge, he's back with more knowledge. But guess what? Do you want to engage Olele? He won't do it for free. I bet you he wouldn't do it for free. He wouldn't even do it for $1,000. In fact, if you want Olele to be on your management team, this man over here, you think you can get him for 20,000 a month? He won't do it. You know how he won't do it?
No go do. Somebody will fly business class.
He go do
for
it.
2 days. Come on, let's be serious.
So how Calvin Boy, how Samini, how give me names, brother.
Ricky, you have to end the show.
How would they book Olele?
Ricky's 10.
I'm just using Olele as an example.
Thank you.
Not necessarily him, as an example. That all these people won't come off cheap. But anyway, it's been a great conversation. Our time is up. We have to go. We'll do the fight after the show. Yeah, we're back here again tomorrow. Please, I don't know if you want to add any a few words.
No, like Coach Sheldon said, make we stop.
The farming thing.
I see the Twitter laugh.
I said we should go.
He said we should stop. He said we tweet
relax.
There's land.
And we not just the artists. It's all of us.
Yeah.
It's all of us.
It's all of us.
We have to cut it down. We are going off air, but we'll be on social media. You can catch us there as well, right? Name is Jay. Thank you, Ole. Thank you, Darich. Thank you, Lenny. I'm sorry.
Jay.
Darich got a hold on you, girl.